Now, you'll see that this thing and that thing, the snitch and this thing is called the round chaos, this thing. The snitch and the round chaos are the same thing. Now in Harry Potter, when he plays Quidditch, remember Piaget had such an emphasis on games, right? Piaget believed that games were the sub-elements of human culture. And Quidditch is this weird two-level game, where on one level it's sort of like soccer or basketball, and then on another level you have two players that are seekers, and what they seek is this snitch. And the snitch is this thing that captures your attention. That's why it's golden and winged, and it moves around very fast. It's like Mercury, the spirit Mercury, because Mercury, the god, had winged feet, and he was the messenger of the gods. So that's how Mercury was conceived of. And I'll tell you something else that's weird about Mercury. So Mercury's a metal as well. And if you mix mercury with sand, and the sand has gold in it, then the mercury will pick up the sand, and then, or the gold, and then you can heat up the mercury and all that's left is gold. So mercury will lead you to where the gold is. And the spirit Mercurius, the mercurial spirit, was the messenger of the gods. And if you paid attention to Mercury, the god, then you'd gather the gold. But it wasn't the gold of fools, it was the gold that made your life valuable. And that's the same thing that's played out in this weird Quidditch game. The two best players, the fastest, the ones that are most awake, aren't playing the normal game. They're playing a superordinate game. And the superordinate game is, pay attention. Pay attention. And if you pay attention, then you'll get the thing that's most valuable. You win the game, but there's more than that, because in the Harry Potter series, for example, there was a piece of soul in that. And that's related to the idea that if you pay attention to what interests you, what manifests itself as meaningful, not only do you build the world out of that, because you're differentiating something that's undifferentiated into something that's comprehensible and usable, but at the same time you're doing the same thing to yourself. And that's the constructivist idea, right? It's that, well, where do you come from? Well, you come from exploration and the generation of information and exploration. What should you explore? Well, the things that shine forth to you. That's the phenomenological idea. And the existential idea is, if you refuse to explore the things that shine forth for you, that capture your interest and your attention, then that will lessen you as a being. It'll make you weaker and progressively weaker, because not only do you remain unformed, but the ratio of chaos to world in your domain of being becomes too intolerable, too much chaos, not enough order, not enough of you. Then the whole thing is unstable. Then you've only got two options. One is that you lose belief in being itself, and that's like a nihilistic reaction. And the other is, you turn to some sort of totalitarian or ideological solution that fills in for where you're not. And that's an abdication of your individual responsibility. And the consequence of turning to totalitarian ideologies like that is that they stagnate and become brittle, because there's no transformation in them anymore, because all of the people inside of them have decided that transformation is unnecessary. And so they become increasingly outdated and corrupt, and then that's the first step on the way to having everything fall apart in the most horrible possible way. And that plays out at the state level, just like it plays out at the individual level.